lovelies, how's it going? I'm frustrated beyond all belief right now because I have already recorded this video once and I've been fighting my editing software for about 2 to 3 hours. For some reason it just does not like the video, doesn't allow me to edit it for some weird reason. It's just acting weird with this video, and I've been using this editing software since I started YouTube. I'm gonna apologize in advance for all the background noise because yeah, this is just the time that I'm gonna do it and just get it done and over with because I want it done and over with. I did record this originally upstairs with a better background, with no background noises, nothing, but for some reason my video is just not being accepted, so we're stuck with this. Well, we're not stuck with this. I can just wait until my husband's off and re-record it upstairs, but I just want this done and over with because I want it, well, pretty much done and over with because when my husband is home, we are going to be super busy and I don't want to have to worry about filming this video as well because we're going to be deep cleaning our kitchen, we're going to be deep cleaning my son's room, we're going through just all of the previous baby stuff that we had, we have to do a baby registry. So this weekend's gonna be just a little more insane. Oh, and we're getting a new living room set. So we have to move out our old stuff and get the living room ready because we will be bringing that home with us this weekend as well. So this whole week has been just overwhelming for me. It's not been a good week for me. So I am so sorry if I sound frustrated because I pretty much am. And I'm gonna be pretty much upfront with y'all because I don't want to fake like everything is happy-go-lucky when it's really not. But let's get into this wrap up. I DNF'd 7 books in the month of August and read 8 books as well. I don't know if you guys have seen my last vlog. If not, that's okay. I'll kind of reiterate here, but I'm pretty much done forcing myself to read books or reading books that I'm not liking. I'm done with having to push through a book. So that is kind of why I have a ton of DNFs this month. Now, I will also like to say that most of these books that I have read were library books. I do have 3 Kindle and 1 audio. Let's get started with the DNF. First DNF is Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. I don't know how to say her first name. I DNF'd this due to content. I started reading it and it just sounded a little, not new agey, but it just sounded off. And so I went on Storygraph, which I will always boast about Storygraph if you need to look up trigger warnings. I looked up all the trigger warnings there. One of them was sexual content, so I was like, yeah, no, this book is not for me. So thus, I returned it to the library. The next book that I DNF'd is Sapphire Blue by Kerstin Gier. I did read the first book, Ruby Red. I read that, I can't remember how many years ago it was. It was definitely pre-COVID. I really wanted to get back into the series. My library has the whole series, so I grabbed the second book after I reread the first book because I definitely needed that refresh. Started getting into it, and the first or second chapter we are introduced to this little gargoyle who was technically introduced at the end of the first book, but this one he plays a major role in the book, and he tells the main character that he was a dead demon. Not sure if you can kill a demon or a demon can be dead, but that's a subject on a whole other level. But yeah, he was written in this like humorous, cute kind of way, and it was just gross, and so I DNF'd this whole series, which really sucks because it has an amazing concept, which there's two families. The first family, the DeVillers, there are males who get this gene that can send them back into time, and then there's the I forgot her family name. Either way, her family, the females get the gene, but you don't know who will technically get the gene, and it jumps, and there's just a lot now that I think back to this, that the content wasn't going to be the best. The book I DNF'd was 26 Below by Kimberly Woodhouse. This sounded really good. It had like a cyber attack in Alaska. I could not connect with characters nor plot. And for me, I have to connect with at least one. The book that I ended up DNFing was Heart of the Sea by Moriah Chavis. This is classified as a clean romance fantasy with pirates. I was all for it until the prologue. The prologue is what gave me the absolute ick. Now, I have been clear before about my stance on fantasy, where there's fantasy magic and then there's magical realism. Magical realism is what I don't like because it's too much of the occult. Obviously, it's in the name, magical realism. So there's certain things that I will pull the plug on. I have read books before with witches in them, and it all depends on if they are fantasy magic versus magical realism. And I'll get a little bit more on the witches in this bit when I do my first Harry Potter vlog. This one had a little too much more steering on the magical realism versus fantasy magic. And how that is the main character talks with a witch in the prologue, and she's like giving these prophecies and doing kind of like this fortune telling, which is a big no-no. The fifth book that I DNF'd is Water Princess, Fire Prince by Kendra Ardnek. This was another one of those like 26 Below. I wasn't connecting with the characters or the story. And it really sucks because it seemed really, really good. And I loved the like premise. The prose was pretty good. There was some Narnia vibes of it, and they quoted some Alice in Wonderland in this, which Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite childhood classics of all time. But I just, if I get more than 100 and some pages in your book, I should not be bored. Unfortunately, I was bored. The book that I DNF'd was Adam by Ted Dekker. This sounded pretty good. I tend to like suspense/thriller where you have your law enforcement hunting down a serial killer. I used to read a ton of Kathy Reichs and Patricia Cornwall. I had to stop reading Patricia Cornwall because she took the Lord's name in vain, and I can't read that. I haven't tried Kathy Reichs yet. I want to try a few others who do this type of genre that are like on the secular level, because I kind of want to see if I still like those types of books. Reminded me a lot of these types of books, but it was lacking what drove me in these other ones. Also, I didn't like that two of the main characters were once married and then were divorced, because it's kind of hard to explain without spoiling it, but I just didn't like their character arc, because the wife who initiated the divorce and went through with the divorce and was pretty much ignoring the ex-husband when he was trying to get back, see if they could get their marriage back to working. She kind of ignored him, but she's sitting there going, well, I'm still in love with him. And I'm like, if you're in love with him, why did you divorce him? I understand you guys are going through something that is a really hard time, but at the same time. And then she was getting mad because another woman was starting to show, well, she was comforting Daniel, who is the other main character. This other woman was comforting her, and I think she's the other main character because you've gotten points of view from her. And Heather, the ex-wife, was getting like jealous and a little annoyed, and I'm like, you divorced him. Now you're mad because another woman who sees your husband as single and knows that he's going through some trauma is comforting him? Your math ain't mathin', sweetheart. The next author, well, I'm kind of DNFing this author. I meant to say the next book, but I am DNFing this author. All the Lost Places by Amanda Dykes. I really, really want to like her stories. Her writing is really good. I want to say she's more along the lines of that like tries to kind of romanticize her writing. I'm not sure if romanticize is the right word for it, but either way, I am just going to put Amanda Dykes as a author that is not for me. I've tried her books. I haven't finished one. I don't connect with characters. I don't connect with stories. But her writing is beautiful, I will say that. On to the books that I've read. We'll start with the lowest rating and go to the highest rating. The lowest rating I have is a 2.5 stars. I don't read anything under a 3 stars anymore because 3 stars means I liked it. Anything under 3 stars, yeah. At first I thought this book was going to be a 3 stars, but the longer it sat with me after I finished it, the more and more I started not to like it and ended up giving it a 2.5 star. Sky of Seven Colors by Rachelle Nelson. Rachelle. Writing is what got me really through this book. Now that I sit here after reading it, I'm just like, yeah, this writing is really what got me through. The story had a good premise. There was some execution things that I did not like, and I'm going to spoil that little bit for you because I need to let you guys know reasons why I did not like it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I will put up a timestamp on when you guys can jump. You guys stayed, so here's the spoiler. In the book, Meg is a human who ends up going through a portal to this other world that's gray. And the gray world is not built for humans, and it kind of slowly poisons her. The only thing that will keep her alive in this world is the king's power. And everyone is reading into this prophecy of how the king will marry a human bride. Well, that's nice and all, but the way everyone treated Meg was like she was going to be this breeder, basically, that she was going to marry the king, have lots of kids, and that was her whole purpose of life in this gray world. They treated her kind of like that through the majority of the book. That's why it ended up getting a 2.5 star rating. I have 3 books that I rated 3 stars this last month. The first one is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, followed up by The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. These are 2 books in the Inheritance Game series. They are going to be the last books that I read of Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I just don't think she's an author for me. While I found entertainment in her books, I've decided the entertainment that she writes about is not for me and my walk with Christ. If I'm going to be brutally honest, now that I sit on this side of the books, I really wish I didn't read them. That I 3-starred is Dawnsong by Bryn, Shutt. I feel like I will enjoy this book more after I read the first book in the series, because this is a prequel novella. And right when the story started getting good and picking up, it was the epilogue. One book that I rated 3.5 stars, and that was The Peacemaker by Copeland. If you're looking for a historical enemies to lovers, this is definitely it. Winnie was burned by a man, and she decides she's going to go to Missouri to pew him. Well, she ends up getting robbed and saved by that man's brothers. Well, one of the brothers figures out what's all going on and follows her as she is in search of his youngest brother to pew him. 4-star books. I only have one book that I rated 4 stars, and that is The Gift of Grace by Amy Clipston. This was my first Amish book. I really enjoyed it. Also, got a few recipes out of this, which I'm not mad about. I always love a good recipe. I'm one that loves to cook, and I especially love to bake. Moving on to the 4.5 star books. I only have one in this, and that is All That Really Matters by Nicole Deese. I didn't think I was going to like this book at first, because I will say the female main character is a social media influencer, and it's kind of going over her life with social media, and it was giving me anxiety. Plus, her ex-boyfriend, man needs to step on a Lego. Man needs to step on a Lego. Once the story started rolling and she started really wanting to focus on other things than social media, I really ended up loving it. Wasn't quite the full 5 stars because it did give me that little bit of anxiety at the beginning. I have one in this, and that is Candle in the Darkness by Lynn Austin. I don't think Lynn Austin's ever going to get below a 4-star for me. If this one didn't beat Wonderland Creek, Wonderland Creek is still going to be my ultimate favorite of hers. This one was really good. If you want a historical fiction set in the time of the Civil War, and the person is living in the South, but they are for the North, this book is for you. I do have 3 books that are crossing over into September with me. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Vernon. My thoughts so far on this is that I'm starting to get into it, but every time I do pick this up and start reading it, Jules Verne's prose are kind of dry, and I start slowly falling asleep. Looking for God in Harry Potter by John Granger. Y'all, this is what I started because Harry Potter's in the background. I told you guys I'm going to be doing a vlog on it. I will talk more about me and Harry Potter and our history in that first vlog and talk more about this book. But I will say, if you guys want kind of an I don't want to say unbiased. John started off with the mindset of Harry Potter is not allowed in his household at all. But then his daughter was given a book, by the first book by their pediatrician, which he knew was a Christian woman who I think went to their same church, I can't remember. So he's like, well, Harry Potter is in my house. What am I going to do? He read it. Then he went out and bought the rest of the series. And as they slowly came out, because I think he said when they were first introduced to Harry Potter, the 4th book was out. But he continued the series and found a lot of Christian themes in Harry Potter, and found Harry Potter kind of mirrors the great story. If you want a deeper dive into this kind of subject, I recommend. I'm on chapter 4 now, and can you guys, I don't know if you can see it that way, but you can see it that way. Look at all those tabs. Look at all those tabs. You don't even want to see my notebook. My notebook is full of notes. The final book that's I'm carrying over into August is Finding Obsidia by T.N. Watson. This is on my Kindle. I haven't picked it up since August 30th, I want to say, which is bad. I need to get back into it. But I try to tend to read my physical books during the day, and then when I go and lay down, I have my Kindle. But these last couple nights, I've just been crashing hard when I go to bed, so there's really no time to read. That's it for my August wrap-up. As I said earlier, I will do a separate video for the Disney Challenge wrap-up. I'll go over all the books and all the prompts that got filled in a separate vlog. That one shouldn't take as long as this. Hopefully. See you guys in the next video. Bye!